Hey, what's up? Derek D here from PBR Podcast. You can see me and a bunch of other really hilarious people at the Asbury Park Comedy and Podcast Festival July 10th at House of Independence. Go to asburyparkpodfest.com for more information.
Hit it! Culture, sophisticated
Podcast, baby. Now tell me something good. Oh, yeah.
What's up, everybody? PBR Podcast, Mike Plano, Derek D. We are live at the House of Independence.
The House of Independence.
This is pretty awesome, man. We're at Marshall Crenshaw's show.
That's right. He's going to be on a little later in the show. And you know also what this house is going to hold in a couple months.
You want to hit that right away?
I'm going to hit that right away.
Do it, son.
Yeah, July 10th. It's the Asbury Park Comedy and Podcast Festival right here in this building that you see. You know, we got here. You see behind Mike over there. It's going to be huge. I mean, it's going to be great. I'm going to talk later to Marshall. I don't know if he's going to dig it or not, but whatever.
I think he will. I think he's going to dig it.
Someday, some way. That's all I'm saying. Okay, July 10th.
Oh, man. So the doors just opened.
Yeah.
So about an hour from now, he'll be on that stage behind me playing all of his hits, man, I'm sure. And he, you know, it's such an intimate room to be here.
Yeah.
I'm looking really forward to it.
100%. And if you don't know who Marshall Crenshaw is, please look him up. He was in the movie La Bamba. He played Buddy Holly. He also, I'm sure you know the song if you look it up someday, some way. But it's a song. It's an what's that called? An earworm, or just stays in your head. You're gonna be like singing it the entire day once you hear it. So
hopefully not you singing it, Derek.
No, it'll be me, Trump, singing it. Okay?
We had enough on the karaoke.
Oh, you kidding? Well, that was fun. That's
people seem to like it. I don't know why they like it, but they seem to like it. Why do you keep looking around? You're making me
because the next person that walks in, I want to grab them and have them sit right here and be like, "You're a Marshall Crenshaw fan. Tell us what do you like about his music or something." Try to grab. Here it is. Yeah, this is the song.
You don't have to look it up. You don't have to Google it. I'm playing it for you right now.
We got you.
That's the technology that we have today.
It's true.
I mean, it's really not that difficult.
He's been compared to Buddy Holly. That's kind of like what his style is. Tonight he's just doing an acoustic set.
Yeah. You know what? That's pretty cool, man. You remember when we had Bobby Bandiera on the show and he just sat down with his guitar?
Oh.
There's something like so amazing about that. You know what I mean? And they just kind of tell stories.
Especially when you just throw out a song and it just starts to play it automatically. It's pretty freaking awesome.
You said you were going to grab the next guest, right? Yeah. You said you were going to grab the next guest that came in.
Guest.
Come on in. This is the next guest that's going to sit down on the show. Derek said the next person that walked in that door.
I said the next person.
He said the next person
right here.
was going to sit right here and put those headphones on and tell us why they loved Marshall Crenshaw so much. What's your name?
My name's Pam.
Pam, good to have you here.
Hi.
Welcome to PBR. Have you ever heard of this podcast?
Yeah, I think I have.
Really?
What do you mean
Yeah.
you think you have? Like, you've either heard of it or you haven't heard of it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've heard of it.
Yeah?
Yeah, once or twice.
Just look too excited to be sitting here
Yeah,
with us.
you don't look excited at all.
I'm really excited.
Are you excited
I could
because
tell.
Derek D's shirt?
That's a great shirt.
That's
Oh,
a great
my
shirt.
God, like, why?
It's a great shirt.
What do people...
I bet you Marshall likes it later in the show, too.
We're going to ask him.
Yeah.
Remind me to ask him.
Was he on yet?
No, he's going to be on after
He's
this.
gonna be on after.
After me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you're the opener.
I'm
Yeah,
the opening
you're
act.
opening.
For Marshall
This is it?
Crenshaw.
So you excited to see him tonight?
I can't wait.
All right. What song are you hoping to hear?
You know, the one.
Oh, does he have a song called The One? It's good.
The one is
It's like
good.
the one,
The one that I
one.
like. You know, the
All
one that I like.
You're the one, the one.
All right. First, I'm muting our guest. You're muted. Thanks for coming.
Are we kicking her out now?
Yeah.
Do you know this woman?
No.
I feel like you do.
I don't know her. What are the odds that you say the next person that walks through that door is going to sit down and we're going to interview him, and it's going to be the lovely and talented Pam?
The lovely and talented Pam.
This thing on?
Yeah, it's on.
I think it's on.
All right. We'll see you in a minute. Thanks. Let's grab a real fan.
Oh, Jesus.
Do the fans know who Pam is?
I believe they do.
Okay.
Pam, would you like to say anything to the PBR posse? This is my fiance, everybody.
There it is. I wasn't sure it was.
I talk about it all the time, the lovely and talented.
I know, but I wasn't sure if you wanted
Well, I don't know if she's comfortable with it because now her face's on camera. Some people like to.
It's a great face.
It's a beautiful face.
Lovely and talented.
She's going to make me edit this out now.
No, I don't think so. I think you leave her right in. Those beautiful blue eyes are being accentuated by this LED light.
You still want to marry me?
Absolutely.
All right.
All right, now get
All
out
right.
of here.
All right, bye.
Thanks, babe.
Thanks, Pam. we know her.
Obviously.
But I did say the next person to walk in, and it was Pam. That was not set up. That just kind of happened. Where's Frankie and Dennis? Where are these people?
You know, we didn't let them. We only got 2 tickets.
Frankie, yeah, actually, I took Frankie's.
Last time I was here, I was smashing Dennis's head against the turnbuckle.
I know. I'm so mad I missed that. I saw some video. It looked phenomenal.
I can't have a conversation with you if you're going to continue to look around.
I want to try to grab
well,
somebody.
how about the next person that walks in?
Okay, well, I got to turn around.
I just ripped my headphone out of my thing.
Ripped it right out. Someday, some way, you just ripped it right out. Why is it top 40? Why isn't it top 50? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the top 40 countdown. Why is it 40? Who picked 40? Why isn't it 30?
Probably the same people who set daylight savings time.
Yeah, like,
you're absolutely right, though. I never thought about that, but that's you're
right.
right.
Why, like, is 50 too much? Like, 50 was too much.
They couldn't. I bet
And
it's like
40 was like
something dumb. Like
maybe
they
a 20
couldn't
and-
fit it on the newspaper.
Maybe it was like a 20 and 20 thing.
It's not, I bet you there's like a. It has to do. If I had to guess, Sidney L'Esperance.
Cha-ching.
Check this out. If I had
Yeah.
to guess, it's gonna have to do with the number of characters that you could fit in a column on a newspaper.
Probably. It's something like that.
You know
It's
what I'm
gotta
saying?
be.
They couldn't fit the 50 at whatever font they used.
Or maybe it was around like the number 42, and they're like, can't be 42. We'll just make it 40.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like they couldn't. Right.
Yeah,
They-
but no, to what you're saying, maybe something along those lines.
Why don't you try to grab this gentleman?
I'm not sure about him.
Okay. Why not?
I'm just not sure.
I mean, I'm not sure either, but like, you want to just stare at him?
At
Like,
first,
we're
I
just
thought he was the
staring at him.
owner of this building. That's why.
Oh,
but
is
it's
he?
not. No,
It's
it's
not?
not. I thought it was at first. I thought it was Morgan's dad.
Excuse me. You're a fan, obviously a fan of Marshall Crenshaw? Yes. Would you like to sit down and talk about him for a minute? They're
Come on, you guys. Come on in.
They're
Have a seat. Just
contemplating.
put the headphones on and say, come on. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Come
Great.
on. Yeah, have a seat.
We got our first.
He's coming on later on in the show. Okay. So you can put the headphones on so you can hear us. Come on, jump on
don't
in.
be afraid.
Jump on
What's
in.
your name?
My name's Joe.
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 Joe Rick.
Joe, are you a
Joe Rick?
musician?
Yes, I
I
am.
knew it.
What do you play?
Well, I play in the area. I'm a guitarist. I play over in Belmar,
Nice.
and I'm also
I live in
a
Belmar.
music teacher.
Where at?
Local school, Neptune Midtown Community.
Listen, anybody who goes to a school in Neptune is a complete.
I graduated from Neptune.
I'm a music
You can
teacher.
never trust a person who went to school in Neptune.
went to Ocean.
Look
Get
at
outta
the
here.
shirt that you wear after you go to Neptune. You wear it's got.
Joe, it's a great shirt.
Come on,
It's
Joe,
a
you're-
great shirt.
Oh my God! Why do people think that's a great
I mean,
shirt?
you're like the 10th person to say it.
I actually live in Neptune. So.
And I went to
Just
Neptune.
playing.
Me too.
Yeah. Where do you play in Belmar?
Klein's restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm there
nice.
like 4 nights a week.
Oh right.
I've seen him there before. Right, the gazebo, acoustic. Yep.
That's me.
Right on. Oh, do you have 2 albums? Well, let's plug the albums.
Let's
then.
plug the albums.
The band's name is the Modulators.
Okay.
The modulators.
You never want to overmodulate though.
No.
Under modulation will accept. You overmodulate, that's it.
Okay.
Do you remember when that song, obviously his biggest hit, "Someday, Some Way," when that came out? Was that like a time for you that it was like, oh, this song is sick? I mean, obviously there was.
It was a really good time for me. I worked in a record store
Oh, nice.
up in Irvington, New Jersey, called Vintage Vinyl.
Sweet.
We had a vintage vinyl on 35 here for a while.
Yes, same store.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah, and then my boss and I had seen Marshall at Seton Hall, opening for Greg Kinn back in the '80s. So anyway, and that song was huge, and Marshall was really popular in this area. It's amazing that he never took off afterwards.
I mean,
yeah.
The first record
Yeah.
did great. The second record was like, even though it was produced by U2's producer,
yeah.
it
I mean, he was in La Bamba. I mean, he definitely did
Yeah,
some
yeah,
big
yeah.
stuff. He played Buddy Holly, and but like that's kind of his sound a little bit, right? Or like was. I mean,
Yeah, it was a sound, and he was also writing a lot of material for other people.
we didn't. I guess we'll see if we remember to ask him this later. He's writing for the show Vinyl on HBO right now too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We never.
Actually, full disclosure, we already interviewed him, guys. We're doing a pre before the after.
Yeah. And we totally forgot to talk about vinyl.
Yeah, we were just talking to him. He was sitting in that chair right there.
Thanks for bringing it back up.
Okay.
Jeez.
So you're gonna be on
Can
the
you tell
same
us about
show.
vinyl? Maybe you can tell us about vinyl.
You know what? I don't
dad
have
watched
HBO. so I've heard good things and bad things,
Major
but let's
fan.
not even go there. Marshall's a great songwriter. That should have been more well known.
Yeah.
But But
He's still doing his thing though.
yeah, he's still doing it, and
Yeah.
that's really cool.
So have you seen him in do an acoustic set at a place this intimate like the House of Independence?
I've seen him about 15 times
Oh,
in
right on.
places like churches and
Yeah.
one of my favorite things that he does is he asks like old people to shake their keys or their pill bottles or their,
Oh, nice.
or
nice.
their Tic Tacs.
My dad was telling me yesterday that he's seen him a bunch of times too, and that he was like, "Oh yeah, he's really good." You know,
He's real good.
Yeah, he's a very good songwriter.
And watch his guitar work because he's an underrated guitar player too. Really good.
Right on.
And you play multiple instruments, or guitar is your main thing?
Guitar is my main instrument, but I do play multiple
Yeah.
instruments. So,
Trump or Clinton?
neither.
What do you mean?
I can't go there.
I got to tell you said my favorite word before you said huge. I think this guy's great. He's a modulator. I modulate. Modulation. I'm going to build a wall of modulators.
I love how your walls,
They're
the wall
everything.
of faith, the
Yeah.
wall of modulators.
It's everything,
It's
yeah.
all everything.
So thanks for having
Hey
me.
man, thanks for sitting down. Enjoy
All right.
the show.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
well-
Joe. Everybody.
Hey,
By the way, you were on
your
camera
album
here.
again?
The Modulators, and it's called Try, Try, Try.
Try.
Can you get it on iTunes?
We're on iTunes. We're on CD Baby. We are on
Website or anything? Or
Cool
anything you
Cat
want?
Records. Modulators.com.
Right on. Check it out, everybody. Thank you
Awesome.
so much, man.
Thanks,
Enjoy the
guys.
show.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it.
Joe, that was Joe. Thank you.
Just it's cool to just grab people grab.
I like it.
people in
I
the
think. All right,
audience.
so let's pull the next person. We're going to count to three. The third person that walks in that door.
Okay, we're gonna grab.
All right, so there's one person standing at not you. Matter of fact, you get over here, please.
Ben, get over here.
This is Ben. All right, you're Mr. I want to do a podcast.
This is Ben. I know Ben.
All right, Ben, you work here at the House of Independence.
I do.
What exactly?
He also plays a lot of instruments. He's a very good musician.
I want to full disclosure. I was here the other night. Well, it was last night. Let's not. Who am I kidding? And he was rapping on the stage.
I've seen video of that.
It's true. It's very impressive.
It was very impressive.
I know.
How long you been rapping? You think you're gonna get up there with Rakim on the 9th?
He can't handle that shit. He knows. He knows.
It's
He's
Rakim or Ben.
That's right.
So
What's
Ben,
your rap name? What would be your rap name?
My rap name is BTJ.
Oh, so you have one.
What does that stand for?
Ben the Jew.
Ben the Jew. So you're Jewish? Are you,
No.
You're not Jewish?
No, but Ben the Methodist isn't funny.
That's awesome. So you're probably are you Bernie Sanders fan?
I like Bernie.
Really?
I'm into Bernie.
Well, sometimes we have him on the show. He just happens to be sitting here right now. Bernie, how do you feel about that?
I gotta tell you that Ben here is one of my favorites. Okay,
because he's also Jewish.
because he's Jewish.
Okay.
Yes, and he probably is gonna vote for me. And either way, but I'm not gonna be entering into the race anyway. I'm losing. So,
Ben, I'm sorry, Bernie just jumps in. He's rude.
No.
What do you do at the House of Independence, man?
I am the lighting designer.
The lighting here is actually beautiful.
Well, thank you.
I mean, I still been telling you. I think there needs to be a spotlight somewhere, and you keep ignoring me.
Well, no, I agree. I requested it directly on me at all times.
yeah, just as you walk around the place, just keep the spotlight on Ben.
Ben, you might know this about me. I'm a professional wrestler now.
Yes, I've
All
seen
right,
it.
And when I came out,
was amazing.
there was no spotlight. I need a spotlight.
You know, you had an aura of light about you already.
Yeah, was that when my ass crack was sticking out to everybody when the man of faith was about to throw me off the ring?
He man of faithed you.
He did. So tell me about this theater since you guys opened, man. Like, what's been going on?
Well, we've had some amazing acts, which you have been here for. I think one of the highlights was we did a
Christmas
production of
Carol?
A Christmas Carol.
It sucked.
It was.
It didn't suck, but there was one part that sucked.
It was. Well, there was one guy.
There was one guy. We'll break it down.
I'm not gonna.
We're not gonna say names,
I'm
but
not gonna name names. But he,
He might have a cacti on his shirt.
a few.
Jerks. You bunch of jerks.
No. We've had that was actually pretty impressive that we were able. One of the first things we did in here was like a full-fledged theater production.
Yeah, that was legit. Like one of the first things, right? It opened with Henry Rollins.
We opened with.
What was it? Fishbone?
It was Fishbone.
Oh, yeah,
Murphy's
yeah.
Law was the opening.
Okay.
And then we did Henry Rollins, which was awesome. And then we also had John Waters was here.
Oh yeah.
John Waters. He was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we do all kinds of stuff. I mean, we've had stand-up comedy, we have bands, we've had huge national acts,
Huge.
small, huge, the biggest.
Don, you've seen huge national acts here?
Huge national acts. I mean, I'm here. That's number one, okay? I'm the best. I should be performing on stage right now.
Well,
I don't know why I'm here for you or this guy, Ben. Okay, he's the worst.
If Ben,
I'm fantastic.
so far now, like the Man of Faith has helped you build the wall. Our last guest helped you. The modulators helped you build the wall. If Ben's going to help you build the wall, how's he going to help? What's it going to be the wall of?
Well, it's gonna be the wall of super grooviness. You know what I mean? It's just gonna be so super and groovy. You know, he's gonna be up there. I'm gonna have him on top of the wall playing the piano, just for everyone to come
Bernie, you're
in.
going to allow this?
No. What I'm gonna do is tear it down with the music. When I turn it up real loud, it's gonna tear down the wall.
So Bernie, you're more.
I gotta go take my back pill.
I apologize. It happens sometimes. It becomes a political debate.
No, it's okay.
Are you ready for this one though? Because sometimes Hillary Clinton sits in Hillary. What the hell? Oh no, Hillary, she couldn't make it.
I don't know. She's like the worst laugh ever.
So, of all the shows you've done so far, who's your favorite?
Wow.
That's tough, right?
That is tough.
Probably favorites for different reasons, but
Well, yeah. I mean, I enjoy doing the Super Groove All Star shows because
Yeah.
I perform in that. I'm not working.
Is there anything you want to plug for that, like website or anything for that? For
Yeah, I mean, you could look Super Groove All Stars. You could look it up in a couple of different ways. You could go to supergroove.com, which is really about more the music festival that we used to throw.
Oh, that is the music
That
festival.
is the music festival.
My brother was asking me. I was like, I don't know if that's the same.
what
it is
happened?
the same
No
thing.
more.
There's some drama that went on.
There was a little drama that went on last year, and this year we kind of decided that we were going to not do it. We may bring it back. We haven't decided. We haven't really gotten into it yet. But to keep the momentum going, we do the Super Groove All Stars, which is usually members of different local bands that sit in with Turtle Soup. Which is my old band, which I used
you
to
were
play.
in Turtle Soup?
I was the keyboard player of Turtle
Right
Soup
on, man.
for just shy of a decade.
Right on. So I know Mud.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
How's that going? How's that going? For you? Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
I
his
grew, I
name
grew
is
up with
Mud.
him. I grew up with him. I know him when he was Jeff.
Oh, I kind of grew up with him too.
Really? Where are you from, man?
Ocean Township.
Oh, he's from Ocean.
We haven't talked about this.
Did we? Listen, I'm
right.
stupid.
60%.
60% of what I.
Well. Here's what if you had to guess what year?
Well, you know Jeff, so I'm going to say you were somewhere in the 90s, right? Like, did you? If I had to get, we're probably the same age. 93. Were we in school together? And
Yeah, no. I'm actually 36.
okay.
I just look 48. But I feel 87.
I was going to say like 97 or so.
That's good.
so
We
you-
got graduated in 98.
So you knew Jeff's little brother,
Dave.
Yeah.
Dirt. Excuse
Oh,
me.
Dirt and Mud.
Dirt and Mud.
What do they call the older brother?
Anthony.
Dirt, Mud,
It don't get better. Yes.
Nice, man.
It's great.
And the event that you are looking forward to most this summer is trick question.
The PBR podcast show is going to be amazing.
Yeah, the Asbury Park Comedy and Podcast Festival
I don't-
happening here.
See that? Now I know the name.
How do you not know the
Instead
name?
of
man? Come on.
because I am really shitty at what I do.
Yeah, apparently.
It's true. No, I'm really looking forward to that. You guys got some great people coming in, and I guess you'll be here too, which I guess.
We'll be here. We'll be on that stage that's behind me right now. I'm kind
Sure
of
will.
I'm kind of excited about it. Last time I was on the stage, I was jumping off the second rope because I'm a professional wrestler.
It was amazing.
Apparently, you are.
You know, we've
professional.
established that though.
That's right. I can't believe they didn't take you on the road with them.
They should, man. Is that Super Kicks on the
Super
road?
kicked them out.
What road are they on?
Cookman. Main I saw him on 4th recently.
right. Nice, man. Thank you for sitting in. Are you excited for Marshall?
Yeah, absolutely. He's awesome. He's
Yeah,
great.
he was cool. He was cool
He's
to
a
have him
cool
on
dude.
here. Very chill, mellow kind of guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He did a show last year at the Paramount that I was at, which
Oh,
was an
nice.
excellent show.
Anything you want to plug before we let you go back to work?
No.
That's it.
Just go to houseofindependence.com, check out what's coming up there. If there is something for everybody, Molly Ringwald was just here.
Yeah.
Molly effing Ringwald.
Yeah, this place is great. I
Yeah.
mean, it really is.
Yeah.
Support Asbury. Come on down. Come to the shows.
Hands down, my favorite show so far, though, Big Bad Voodoo Daddy.
That was great.
That was an
Man.
awesome show.
Awesome show.
That show was dope.
It was probably one of my. It was one of the best nights I've had in the last 20 years.
we had a good time, dude. That was
From
really fun.
top to bottom, because we had Scotty on the show. We hung out with him for a long time.
Right.
And just afterwards, and it was just like the sound in here was unbelievable. The sound in here
It's
is
great.
stupid.
Really
It's
good.
an excellent. The room is great.
I mean, it's better. Dare I say it's the best sound in Asbury Park.
Only accentuated by the fantastic lighting.
That's right. I was looking. Yeah,
That's
we'll
all
leave it at
Ben
that.
over
We'll leave
here.
it at that.
That's right.
Ben the Jew, everybody.
Shalom.
Shalom.
BTJ.
Holla. I'm sorry. Holla.
There you go.
La holla.
Nice. Thank you. Thanks for sitting
Thanks,
down.
man. Appreciate it, man. We should probably get into the interview.
Yeah, let's bring Marshall out. You want to bring him out?
Let's bring him out.
All right, so here comes Marshall Crenshaw on Pizza Beer Revolution with Derek and I, and thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy it. Why are you staring at the camera?
Oh, bye. No, are we saying bye now or are we saying bye later?
It's weird when I look at you, you're just looking at the camera, you're staring at it, like making eyes with it.
Well, hey, how are you? I mean, if you're watching on YouTube, I need to connect with you.
I muted him. Enjoy the interview. Have you been to Asbury Park? You have been to Asbury Park a bunch, right?
A lot, yeah, but I've never been to this part of it. Thank you. I didn't even know that it existed. Is that funny?
Oh, really?
I mean, what do
Mainly
I
the Stone
just
Pony, huh?
I just come in and out and do the gig and walk along the boardwalk, and that's all I've ever seen.
I guess traveling, being on the road, they kind of all start to blur together, right?
Yeah, and the other thing is, I used to have the energy to explore or the desire or whatever, but kind of past that now. I'm sorry to say. I just go to the show, and the show is in this part of town that I've never seen before, so it's interesting for me.
And especially this part of town is really, I mean, this whole strip right here, Cookman Ave, all the way down to Ocean Ave, is like the new hotspot to be at in this area. Like, it's really happening and coming up, and there's a lot of the great venues like this popping up and stuff. And
This is a great venue.
It's beautiful, right?
I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's classy, and somebody really put some thought into it, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, the seats are tracked for different kind of events. If you have a DJ or you have someone up there where, it's going to be real loud, you want people dancing, jumping around, you just pull the seats back, and you do theater in here.
They had
sure.
They had Lucha Libre wrestling the other night.
What kind?
Lucha Libre,
Mexican wrestling?
Mexican masked wrestling.
Great.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a maker theater. But
oh man,
thank you so much for sitting in. Now, where were you born?
I was born in Detroit.
Motor City.
Yeah, the hospital was in Detroit, and when I was born, my mom and dad lived in this town called Highland Park, which is somehow it's surrounded by the city of Detroit, but I don't remember that at all. The first place I remember living was a town called Berkeley, Michigan, which is just outside the city of Detroit, suburbs.
Are you an only child?
No, I have 3 younger brothers.
Right on. Are any of them into music?
Yeah, my brother Robert used to play with me and is on my first couple albums. He's was a drummer. And then my brother John is my youngest brother. He lives a little ways south of me. He works in New York City. And he was an audio engineer. Now he's involved somehow in video production. He works on the Showtime network. I'm not exactly sure what his job title is, but he's sort of in show business, a backroom guy. And then my brother Mitchell is a postal worker in Texas, and that's all of us.
Right on.
And you're traveling around all over the place, currently still just touring, or are you more not as much as you used to?
Well, I do. Yeah, I play all year in, year out. I just call it working, I'm just working.
I guess
Yeah.
Derek doesn't know anything about that. I mean, look at his shirt, Marshall.
Come on.
You're going to hire a guy that wears a shirt with cacti on
It's a nice shirt.
I like it,
Yeah,
actually.
see there, there we go.
Oh, man.
Marshall likes it, yeah.
Tell you right out straight.
I feel like, my whole day has been ruined of making fun of your shirt now. He likes it.
Everyone likes it, yeah.
Were your parents musicians? Or what did they do?
No, let me see. My mom was a high school English teacher. Eventually, she got her degree when I was in my teens and then became a teacher at that point, late in life for her. But anyway, my dad just had various jobs when I was a kid. He sold insurance for a while. He had a couple jobs working for the city that we lived in. He was a city manager for a little while. Then he went to work as a sort of a white collar guy at a hospital. This, that, and the other thing. He just kept us all alive any way he could, I guess. He's gone now, but anyway, I'm not sure. He just did lots of things.
Who put the? Sorry, Mike. Who put the guitar in your hand, or was it just you when you were younger? Were I'm watching the Beatles or something. You're I just need to do that.
No, it was him. It was my dad.
Oh, nice.
My dad had a guitar, and he could play the top, everything he played was on the top 3 strings using his index finger. I mean, he couldn't really play it, but he would play it. He'd get it out and bang on it. And he's a very high-spirited guy.
He was almost a bass player.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, he's a music enthusiast. And so it was him, like he had a guitar. There was one in the house when I was a child. And I just, I'm 62 years old now. I grew up in the 50s and 60s. And I just loved rock and roll music all my life. It was like the first thing I ever loved in my life. And for a while, it was the only thing in my life. I was a very cranky kid. Didn't like much else but rock and roll music for a long time. And that's just it,
Do you remember how you fell in love with rock and roll?
Well, again, it was because of my dad, but also my older cousins. And they were teenagers in the 50s. They were Elvis Presley fans and Everly Brothers and Chuck Berry and Little Richard and all that stuff. They would bring those records home from the dime store, and it just was the soundtrack of my life, And it was it. It was what was in the air, and
So it was it like so your biggest hit, Someday Some Way.
yeah.
Which is so catchy. It's just been in my head the past few days when I hear it coming up. But like now you probably, obviously you can't even count how many times you've played that song. And I ask people this that we have on the show that have hits like that. Do you ever get sick of it, or is it one of the things like, hey man, this was a great time, this was great for me, I will play it as many times as I have to and enjoy it every time, or does it get a little cumbersome after a while?
No, that one I don't get sick of. I think it's pretty, it doesn't really have any flaws for me. There's another one, I'm not going to name it, but it's from that same time period, and it's a little freaky to me now when I play it. I just kind of go, oh boy, I wish I could rewrite this one.
Because of the meaning.
But it's not Someday Some Way. It's still like it. When I hear the record, I like the groove. It's got a very cool swing to it.
Yeah.
And so that one still works perfectly well for me.
The one that you didn't like or look back on and wish you could rewrite it, is it the words or is it the composition?
Yeah, some of the words are a little funny, but people love it, and so I play it. That's okay.
You got to give them what they want. You got to give the people what they want to hear.
Yeah, but mostly I do just play what I want to play. But if somebody asks for something like a back catalog thing, and I don't want to play it, then I say that I don't remember it. But then sometimes now, people ask for something, and I literally don't remember it. I never thought that would happen, but I do. It's like that's a problem now.
It starts the mold, right? I mean, I've seen bands play live, and I've seen like people they have such a repertoire of music, and they start to meld songs together, not on purpose. Like one guy will go another way, and another guy goes a different way.
Yeah.
You could see it happen, So Marshall, you have 3 brothers. You fall in love because your dad has this guitar, and then like in your formative years, like your high school years, did you join a lot of bands, or were you like kind of just strumming away, learning on your own?
Yeah, I was in bands in high school, and it was just like that was my whole life revolved around that. Like my social life, my personal life, and everything. And I was a terrible student in high school. I've kept that fact hidden from my kids until just recently. I never wanted them to know that I just goofed my way through high school and barely graduated.
Right.
I had to beg one of my teachers for a passing grade. I hated regimentation as a kid. It was a different I think of it as that it was a different world then. And I've said this to my kids. I said, when I was a kid, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, I said, it was like there was a conformist mentality around me. And it was like that was what you're supposed to, there was like you were supposed to follow this certain path and think within this certain box. And that was normal, you're supposed to be normal. And I just never liked that. It was like difficult for me, so I didn't like school. I wanted to just get away from any and all authority figures as a kid.
That's probably one of the reasons you were so successful, though, because you kind of wanted to break that mold, and you went out and did, just focused on what you love to do. And if people have a passion so much for something and you work hard at it, it's going to pay off at some point.
I just did it that way. I crawled out on the limb, and then I sawed the limb, pushed the tree away. You know what I mean? That was like, that's what I did. So here I am.
I mean, and when you're playing in bands in high school at that time, you're playing rock and roll, and that's rebellious in its sense back then, right?
Yeah, it really. I mean, then it really was. It was like there was a real generational divide back then. Now, parents are the ones that like rock music, and the kids. Heck, they have everything. Yeah, I think it's cool myself, honestly. The kids have everything at their fingertips.
Yeah.
Everything that ever happened is like in this little thing in front of them.
Yeah.
I think it's great, and I think it's lucky them.
Do you remember recording, like trying to record back in the day, like maybe your first demo that you did in high school? Like, how did you even record it?
Let me see. First recordings I ever made myself. My dad brought home these 2 little tape recorders from work, and so he would bring them home on the weekends. I asked him to do it, and I would make these recordings where I would bounce back and forth between the 2 tape machines, and so I could do a multi-track thing that way. Then in the early 70s, I was in a band where we bought the gear from a recording studio that had gone out of business. Detroit in the 1960s was a kind of a boom town for record making.
Yeah.
Like Motown, of course, but much more besides that. But then in the 70s, it all crashed. It just all crashed, and pretty soon there were lots of empty buildings that used to be studios. And this band I was in, we bought this 4-track setup, a 4-track tape machine. So I would spend a lot of time in our studio that we had. I even went there on Christmas Eve once, and I don't know. I just always loved recording, and now anybody can do it. But back then you had to. I don't know. It was different times. But
you ever think about like what if you were in high school now and had an iMac with a GarageBand on it? What you think it would have like changed anything?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess what I did when I was growing up was I just sort of responded to what was around me, just like tried to make something out of what I had in front of me. And I think I would do the same thing now if I was a kid, just be different stuff, Yeah,
you translate it into that. I mean, look at what's on this table right here. Like back in the day, this would be insane.
Yeah.
Try to do something like this, and we could just pop it up in 10 minutes and have you on, and here it is.
But sometimes I wonder, like, because of the equipment, because you're bouncing stuff back from tape to tape, you created a sound, like there was a vibe there, a sound there, like maybe it wouldn't have been there if you were putting it into a soundboard, into a laptop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I wonder.
Yeah, that's really true. I mean, going back and forth. Yeah, exactly. Like just. Tape has this, like if you go back and forth too many times, then you start to lose the top end. But then if you just keep cranking the level up, then it turns into this sort of, like it takes on this aura of mystery somehow.
Yeah, and it
can, if you're doing something interesting. Then, I mean, a lot of my favorite records from back in the day are records where there's a lot of bouncing and a lot of overdubbing, and like old Gary U.S. Bonds records, for instance. I don't know if you know what those sound like, but they have this kind of otherworldly, ghostly sound to them. And plus it sounds like a room full of crazy people on the records, because they would have that party atmosphere on those records. And part of the magic of them for me is like, because of the tape, the loss of quality on the tape, but they used it in an artistic way.
Yeah. I noticed you have records as your merch. Like there's records in there, right?
Yeah, I have vinyl records with me.
But you also have, what I noticed is a download there too, so you could get the record for like the old school and the person who likes vinyl, and then you could have you could download it and have it on your phone or have it wherever you want to play music. Which
That's
is
right.
You're kind of hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. It's kind of a good idea.
I thought it was, yeah. I did this recording project last year, or actually started in 2012, and it just finished up last year. And I was putting out a new record every 6 months.
Wow.
And it was, you can see what they look like. They're 10-inch vinyl records, and they have an A side with 1 song on them, and then the B side has 2 songs on each B side. So 3 songs on the EP, and then I did a bunch of those.
I love that, man.
I liked it too. Like the records are really beautiful looking, like the graphics and stuff,
Yeah.
and I thought they were anyway. And we sold a lot of vinyl records too. People are really
It's coming back, right?
yeah. Well, yeah.
It's like nostalgic, I think, in a sense. People want that still.
I think it's
My dad still does.
It's nostalgic too. I mean, I think the appeal of it is that records. Myself, what I like is the object itself. I just like records as an object. I mean, for listening, I know. It's all good as far as I'm concerned. I mean,
Do you have a preference?
no, not particularly. Just depending on the situation. I like to play records at home, though. I still buy records. I like the way they sound, and I just like them. As a thing.
I was looking at I was really impressed when I looked at your since you put out your first record, you haven't missed a beat. Like every few years, you're consistently putting out new material.
Oh, that's true.
How difficult is that?
It's got to be tough.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not the only one. It's just like there are a lot of guys like me running around who just can't stop and can't help themselves and are just determined to keep putting one foot in front of the other, and that's it's just like living and breathing, and that's it.
Do you find that you do hold stuff back, or like if you create it, you want it to see the light of day? I mean, because they say Prince just passed away. They say you could release an album. He could release a new album every year for the next 20 years.
Yeah,
that's how much repertoire he has. Like, he didn't release.
There's nobody like him. I'm sorry. I mean, I never worked. He worked harder in a week than I have my whole life.
You ever meet him?
I never met him, but I occupied the same space as him a couple of times. Like when I did my third album back in 1986, I worked on a lot of it at this studio in L.A. called Sunset Sound, which might still be there. And they had a courtyard in the middle of all the different rooms, and Prince was in one of the other studios doing something. I think it was probably Purple Rain, if I'm not mistaken.
Man.
And, once in a while he would come out, take a break, and he had these big, tall guys with him, and it would just be Prince and this guy playing basketball, one-on-one.
And he was really good at basketball,
Yeah, he
right?
could play,
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
like what he was known for, yeah.
So, I mean, all of us, my brothers and everybody that I knew that played music, we were all in awe of Prince at that time, and I still am in awe of him.
Such a shame.
It's terrible. It stinks. I mean, I really hate it a lot, that I'm still sad at the realization that he's dead, It's really bad. He's 5 years younger than me, too. Anyway, I mean, it's like his level of productivity, I can't think of anybody who compares,
It's like that upper echelon. He's like I said it before. He's like this like godlike figure, like up there, like Prince, and like.
I'm sorry, but it's true. He just really he was a miracle.
I think it's amazing to hear people like yourself say that about him. There was a comment Eric Clapton made. Someone asked him, how does it feel? I think someone passed away, and then a reporter asked Clapton, how does it feel to be the best guitar player on the planet? And his response was, I don't know, go ask Prince.
That's great. That's humility, and humility is a good thing,
especially in this business.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
All assets of it.
Well, the artists I like best, like they seem to have some humility in the face of the music itself. Anybody that's any good, I think, knows that the music itself is bigger than they are, and then I'm including even guys like the guys in the Beatles, like they had that quality, or they had that love for the music, and that's one of the things I like about them.
Do you like? Is there anyone now, very recent, like maybe I don't want to say pop music, but like that you think is good, or maybe not influences you, but you're like, yeah, I like that. They sound good. Like Justin Timberlake, for that matter, like someone like that.
I mean, I'm not going to even like make a judgment one way or the other about him or anybody. I'm not like I'm not right on the loop with what he does. What I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously he's talented.
I mean, anybody. I just threw him out there, but someone of that.
There's a lot. I mean, yes. The answer is yes. I can't just rattle off a name and say this guy's, the best thing I've ever heard. You know, or that woman, or this group or anything like that. But no, I mean, the state of the art as far as the music goes, I think is perfectly swell. I don't think the like our mass culture is kind of screwed up in my mind, and our society is kind of screwed up in my mind, and it's sort of like the two screwed upness things go hand in hand. But it's not the music's fault; it's the culture I don't like right now itself. Just the state of our American culture. I don't think it's very healthy, but the music is happening. There's a lot of great music out there.
I think a lot of people would agree with that.
How do you feel about our presidential candidates, our choices right now? Are you fan of?
I don't know. It's not really even the politicians. Like the politicians wouldn't be out there if it wasn't for. Like sometimes I see like certain politicians. I don't watch MSNBC anymore, but I used to, and I'll see like a congressperson, and I'll go, how on earth, where and why, but somewhere out there is a mass of people that voted for this clown or this mutant,
Yeah.
So it's really, it's not about the politicians necessarily. It's like they just represent the mindset, of the voters, whoever they may be, or they're not, a lot of people don't vote. That's another thing, is there's a lot of disengagement, a lot of, like airheadedness, I'm sorry to say, in the body politic. But I would love to see that change, I really would. I'd love to see people start to get the cotton candy out of their brains and think a little bit. That would be great.
I don't know if you're a fan of Donald Trump, but he's a huge fan of yours, and he's actually sitting here right now.
Hey, Marshall, I got to tell you.
Oh, no.
Someday, some way. It's a great song. I can build a wall to that song.
Hey.
Multiple walls.
That's going to be the theme of the wall?
Someday, some way. I'm the best.
Well,
that's the Donald for you.
Great.
So they're going to spray paint someday, some way on the wall that we built.
Huge. It's going to be huge. This guy, me, someday, some way, it's going to happen.
It happened.
It just happened.
I'm speechless.
Oh man. So last question. We'll let you go.
All right, sure.
I just wanted to know. I wanted to get to the point where you write someday, some way, and how that goes down, and where were you at in life?
Yeah.
How old were you?
All right, I was in Beatlemania.
Oh wow.
You know what that is? It was like a stage musical, and it was. Like now there are lots of tribute bands out there, or tribute shows.
Yeah.
Beatlemania was the first one, kind of. Before Beatlemania there were Elvis impersonators, but Beatlemania was like, it started the whole tribute band thing, and it was actually a Broadway show at the Winter Garden Theater, like the biggest house on Broadway. And Beatlemania was a hit on Broadway, and then they started a touring company, and they started a West Coast company, and they had understudies, and I was an understudy in New York.
Nice.
Yeah, I got that gig, and I moved to New York because of that, and I've been kind of in it or near it ever since. But that's where I was. I was in Beatlemania. I was getting restless. I got sick of doing Beatlemania in about 20 seconds, and just started thinking about other things. And then some of the other guys in the show, including Asbury Park's own Glenn Burtnick, who was still a good friend of mine, some of the guys that were in the show were starting to make moves in their lives and create stuff themselves. And I just thought, man, I better catch up.
Yeah.
I should do something with my life one of these days. And so that was really it. It's just sort of like the competition amongst my peers, and just me feeling like, okay, like what the fuck, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And what should I do, and how should I do it? And I just started to put all those things together, and that's when I started writing my own songs and trying to make something that was me, at that time. And I was in my mid-20s then, and then it took me like 2-3 years after that to be on a record label, and that's the story.
Did that song flow right out, or was that one that you had to work at?
No, it was just, it was on paper, and I didn't even write it down. It was just in my head.
It just happens like that.
Yeah, I was just high on life, and I knew what I wanted to do and what kind of noise I wanted to make, and just it happened.
That's
That
awesome.
was a good noise.
So
Yeah, thank you.
we know you have a show to get to. We're excited to see you tonight. Thank you so much for sitting down and giving us a few minutes every
Yeah,
time.
we do
man.
appreciate
really
it. Thank you so much.
Great. It was nice
our
talking to you
pleasure.
guys.
Thanks. Man.
Awesome. You too. Marshall Crenshaw, everybody.
Thank you so much. That was fun.
Good deal. Yeah, it was
Sorry
good.
to hold you up on eating. That place is good though. Toulouse is good.
The menu looks good. All right, nice going, you guys. That was a good conversation.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking the time out.
We really